Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in another video day, and today the Indiana Pacers have traded for Thomas Bryant, and trade season has officially begun. Thomas Bryant is being sent to the Indiana Pacers from the Miami Heat. So the last couple years, Thomas Bryant's been to Miami. That will finally end. Started there last year in the 2023-24 season. Continued there this year. Played 10 games this year, averaging 4 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, and in those 10 games, averaging almost 12 minutes per game. Not terrible numbers for only 11 and a half minutes per game. Look, I really love this trade for the Pacers. I know a lot of people are probably thinking this trade means nothing at all. I mean, this Pacers team has really suffered in this season at Thomas Bryant's position, mainly the backup center. Miles Turner's had some injuries, but it's not like he's out for the year or anything. But game one against the Detroit Pistons, James Wiseman going up against his former team in the first quarter goes down with a torn Achilles. Then just a couple weeks later, their other backup center, who also still would have been getting minutes with James Wiseman, because you can put him in at the 4 or the 5, but was back to what he was playing last year at the backup 5. Isaiah Jackson tears his Achilles. So now with only having Miles Turner, the Pacers not really having a backup big man. They needed a backup big man. And what we've been hearing from NBA insiders is that the Pacers were going all over the trade market trying to look for not a starting center, but a backup center. And they find it, and it's for very cheap. And I really like the addition because they don't have to give up any players. They just swapped 2031 second-round picks, and now they have their they have the backup center now. And they really haven't had that this year because of James Wiseman going down game one. A couple weeks later, Isaiah Jackson goes down. So for a good part of the season, they're only 25 games in, and 2 of their 3 starters have already had season-ending Achilles injuries. And it's been for weeks now that they've been without both Jackson and Wiseman. So you had to go make a move and go get a backup center, and this is the first trade we have seen of trade season. And the first trade this year happened before the first trade last year. The first trade last year was on December 30th, and it was the OG Anunoby trade. OG going to the Knicks, in the Raptors-Knicks trade. Now this year, first trade happens on December 13th. So a little bit earlier this year. But I like the trade for the Pacers. For the Heat, I don't think it really means anything. I think they were planning on trading Thomas Bryant. I would have thought Thomas Bryant would potentially be involved in a potential Jimmy Butler deal, but I guess that's not going to happen now that Thomas Bryant is going to Indiana. But if you want to just go over some other stats that are not including this season, 38 games and 4 starts with the Heat in the 2023-24 season, averaged 12 minutes per game with 6 points per game and 4 rebounds per game. I think some of the best basketball I've seen Thomas Bryant play was with the Los Angeles Lakers in the 2022-23 season. He played 41 games with 25 starts, 21 minutes per game, shot 65% from the floor. He shot 44% from 3 on over 1 3-pointers a game, or attempted per game. He had over 12 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, nearly 1 assist per game, nearly 1 block per game. Now, although Bryant's best year was the 2020-21 season with the Washington Wizards, playing with Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal in 10 games and 10 starts, he had 27 minutes per game, shot 65% from the floor, 43% from 3 on 2 attempts per game, averaged 14 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game, 1 block per game, a half a steal per game with the Wizards in the 2020-21 season. And then their playoff series that year, he didn't play in their playoff series, I guess, because the Wizards did go to the playoffs in the 2020-21 season playing the 76ers, but I think now that I remember that Thomas Bryant was injured in that in that Wizards series against the 76ers. So I think that series went to 6 games, if not, it went to 5 games, and Philly won, and Washington didn't have their starting center, Thomas Bryant, who was very helpful to their team. But yeah, I like the trade for the Pacers just because of the fact that they really needed a backup center. But let me know your thoughts on the trade in the comment section, and peace out.